So hey Sparkers, today we're going to cover a unboxing and review of the XSONIC Airstep. So disclaimer, they reached out to me, asked me if I wanted to review one, and they sent me one. I did not pay for this. It's the first device or anything that someone sent me as a part of this Spark Amp tutorials channel that I've been doing. So I'm super excited about it, but I'm going to give it a completely honest review, starting again with the unboxing. And you know, we'll after we unbox it, we'll get it connected to the Spark Amp and we'll see how it works. It came to me, it was about a week ago actually, but I had some stuff planned and I haven't been able to get around to getting it, but it's got my address here. It came from China, so good to know, but let's go ahead and open it and see what we got. Very small package relative to what I'm guessing is the size of the unit. So, alright, let's check this out. So, you can see that. It says Airstep Lite Spark Edition. Very interesting. So, slightly smaller box. Inside an already small box. So that's XSONIC. That's the manufacturer. So let's see what we got. Okay, so not a ton of stuff in here. Looks like we have, what is this, a Wi-Fi antenna of some sort, looks like to me. We have USB-C to USB adapter. Okay, lots of adapters so far. And then we have, this looks like it goes into a power outlet of some sort, and then a USB, regular USB connection. Lots of USB. And then, so here is the Airstep itself. It's wrapped in a flat package. That's good. Let's open this up. There was nothing left in that box, but let's see what we got. Sorry, a bit out of frame there. Move this back over here. You only get one shot in an unboxing. So, what do we have here? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 push button connectors. It looks like they all have little LEDs or lights above them. There's a light for the eye in there. Airstep Lite SPK stands for Spark Edition. So, and here on the back, hopefully you can see that okay, we have a function button, a power switch. Oh, it's interesting. It must have a battery of some sort because that's lighting up, even though there's no power to it right now. That's interesting. So maybe the power just charges some sort of battery. So I'll go ahead and leave that off for now. And then we have this wireless adapter, and there's this white one that's already on there, and then this black one. So I wonder if those are just different standards. And then on the back here, got the XSONIC Reload Your Tone Smart Multi-Controller Model Airstep, some power info, serial number, barcode, all that good stuff. And then on the front it says XSONIC right there. Nothing really on the sides. But wow, it's a neat, compact little design. And we will see how well it works. So next up, I'll go ahead and go over the instructions and see what it takes to get it connected and powered on and hopefully functional. All right, thanks. Okay, so we are going to attempt to connect to this Airstep from the Spark app. Apparently it has native integration with the Spark app, which is great. So the first thing I'll do is I'll go ahead and open the app, and then real quick, going through the manual here. So it says Airstep Lite Spark Edition manual. Turn the power switch of the Spark 40 amp when Airstep Lite Spark Edition controlling Spark amp, you can still use all of the functions in the Spark app except preset editing. So that sounds like you can do anything you want with the app except editing presets. So I actually went ahead and made sure my 4 presets are kind of what I wanted to test with already ahead of time. So it looks like that worked out for me. If you don't need to edit, reading the manual again here, it says if you don't need to edit preset before using Airstep Spark Edition, click skip in the Spark app's start page and go to step 2. So I didn't see a step here to actually connect to the Airstep, but maybe let's just turn it on and see if it attempts to connect on its own. I bet there's a process though to do that. So turn on this power switch of the Spark amp. It's already on. When Airstep Lite Spark Edition controlling Spark amp, you can still, okay. Connect to the Spark 40 audio in the system Bluetooth setting to use with Spark app's function or Bluetooth audio function. Okay, that's just normal Spark stuff. So I think we have to go to hardware settings. Sorry, hardware settings are here, Bluetooth audio settings. No, we don't have to go there, I don't think. Device is not connected or not currently the primary audio source. Go to iOS. So maybe the Airstep took over as the Bluetooth connection to the Spark. Not really sure. Step 2 says turn on the Airstep Lite Spark Edition. The connection indicator will blink blue, so it's doing that. You can see that here. After the connection with the Spark amp establishes, the connection indicator will become solid blue. Okay, so it hasn't actually connected yet. So let me go over here and I'm going to go to add device maybe. There we go. So now we've got, just to show you this real quick, the I is in Airstep is solid, and then the 2 far right buttons are solid blue as well. So the foot switch are not numbered, they're lettered. So we have A, B, C, D, and E for those 5 buttons. And there's 3 different control modes, control mode 1, 2, and 3. In control mode 1, the first 4 buttons are channels 1 through 4, and the last one is toggling the drive, which I guess they mean is toggling maybe the amp types. Not really sure there. And then control mode 2, first button is toggle drive, second button is toggle mod, third button is toggle delay. Okay, so now I understand. The toggle drive means you're going to scroll through the different drive pedals, I'm guessing, or maybe adjust the setting itself, I'm not sure. And then the last 2 buttons are channel up and channel down. And then in control mode 3, you have the first button is toggle drive, the second is toggle mod, third is toggle delay, fourth is toggle reverb, and then the last is channel up. Okay. So they give you some flexibility here. You can either use it to just flip through channels on these 4 buttons and then toggle your drive on the last one, or you can get a little bit more advanced with toggling the different effects pedals. All right, so we've got it connected. That's step 2. Step 3 says, here's the mode list. Okay, I literally just read that. Mode list. Factory default is mode 1, which is channel 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then toggle drive. And then, yeah, and you can toggle that. You can select between the different control modes. If you press down one of one of the first 3 buttons when you're powering it on. Okay, so right now it's in the first control mode. So current channel indicating. Foot switch LED indicates the current channel via blinking in green color. I don't see anything blinking in green color. But let's see what happens if I push a button. So that's toggling. Yeah, and I can see it on the Spark. Toggling 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm just pushing the first 4 buttons there, and I can definitely see it on top of the amp, toggling through those channels then. And then, okay, when I press the last button, it's lighting up. It's making the channel indicator blink at a different pace. So I'm guessing it's doing what it's saying. But in the app here, let's see, it says connect. Let's get smart, connect. I wonder what I'm connecting to, because it seems like I'm already connected, but no devices found. So let's just go back here. Skip. So yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm already connected. Let me go back to my tones here. So I'm not seeing anything happen in the app when I do this. But maybe if I can change the tone still. What I really should be doing is having my guitar plugged in here and testing this out. Yeah. So, yeah, okay. Well, it appears to be working. I'm going to pause the video now. I'm going to plug my guitar in and see what happens. I think we're in good shape here, though. All right, so I'll be back in a second. Okay, so after just a couple of minutes here, just kind of playing with it, I got a pretty good sense for how it works, and it's really neat. So basically, as it says in the instructions here, the 4 buttons will toggle through your hardware presets. And I noticed that when I'm in the app right now, there's no access to the hardware presets. So that's what they meant, right? If you look here, there's no hardware underneath here. It's all, I mean, I can probably select one of these different channels. Okay, so it doesn't seem like, yeah, okay, so I don't think I have tone control from the app right now, which is kind of interesting, right? It's like the Spark, or the Airstep rather, is taking over the control of the tones essentially. But let me just verify that here. Yeah, I'm still on the same. I can toggle it with this, but I can't change it within the app, which is fine. I mean, that's kind of what this thing is meant to do, is take over the tone control. So I'm guessing that the other features like play along still work. Let's just validate that real quick here. Okay, so I'm not connected as an audio device. Let me do that real quick. Gotta go to Bluetooth. And then I wonder what would happen. Okay, yeah, Spark Audio. I don't even see, if you notice here on the iPad, I don't see the audio BLE connection, which tells me that the Airstep has that connection right now. So yeah, going back into the app, you can see I have Bluetooth audio now, but I don't have tone control. I'm gonna try after testing this, I'm gonna try taking over tone control from the app and see what happens to the Airstep. It may lose its connectivity, but let's see. Okay, I have the volume turned down for the audio. Let me turn that up a little. Yeah, there you go. So I'm able to play along there. Yeah. So let's pause that. So right now, the way it's working is I have audio from my app. The app. I don't have tone control. So the Spark Airstep, the XSONIC Airstep, effectively takes over tone control. I would have thought that I would still be able to select through the app. Actually, and that's what I want to test next. I want to see if I take over tone control here, if I can, from the app. See what happens to the Airstep, if it even does allow me to. Nope, it looks like it's not connecting. So I'm guessing here that the Airstep takes over tone control of the Spark amp, and that I don't have control of the Spark amp anymore from the app. That's what seems like is happening to me, because if I go in here and I try to select a different tone, it's not doing anything, right? So let's read that first page again and see if that assumption is correct. So this is only editing pre-steps, so I may be missing something here. It says I should only not be able to edit presets. So maybe you should be able to connect both devices, right? Maybe you should be able to connect the Spark app to the Spark amp and the Airstep to the Spark amp at the same time, and maybe I'm not seeing that. So let's try this again. I'm sure it's not going to work. Yeah, okay, so where did I see? Okay, here it is. Let me try this. Connect. I wonder if you can connect the Airstep to the Spark app rather than the Spark amp. That may not make any sense, but I think that's what's happening. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to turn off the the Airstep, and I'm going to reconnect tone control. To me, that's telling me that only one thing can be controlling the amp at one time. That's either the Airstep or the app. So I'm going to play around with this. I'm going to pause the video for now. I'm going to kind of try to validate that that's the case, and I'll share my findings once I've done that. But I mean, so far this is pretty neat, right? If I only have 4 tones, let's say, in my set list that I'm going to be playing, whether that's 2 songs or 4 songs or 10, this is great, right? I don't even need the app theoretically to go through those. If I need more than that, though, there's stuff we're going to have to do, right? We're going to have to maybe turn off the Airstep and adjust our presets or something along those lines. But yeah, no, so far this is really cool. I want to figure out what those adapters are needed for as well. Probably something to do with charging. Maybe there's another thing where I could connect this Airstep to my iOS device. But anyway, we'll play around with it and let you know what we come back with. I'm going to stop the recording for now, and we'll see you soon. Okay, so what I found so far is that, yeah, it seems like what I said earlier is accurate, that you're either controlling the amp from the Airstep device or you're controlling it from the app in here. And as of this moment right now, I have the Airstep controlling it. So if I go back over here, you can see that tone control is not connected. So I think there may have been a little bit of a misprint here, or at least maybe they weren't quite accurate when they said you can still use all the function in the Spark app except for preset editing. When I read that, I think they mean I cannot adjust my presets, right? The 4 presets that I have, I can't edit them. I can't do anything with them. But I also can't select other tones, right, within the app. There's no way to select different tones. So basically, I'm either controlling the amp from the Airstep or I'm controlling it from the app. Now, I can still play audio. I can still do play along. I could probably even still do Smart Jam and all that good stuff. And so, I mean, that's cool. I just can't, do any tone control features whatsoever. But I did play around with the other 2 modes. So again, there's 3 different modes that the Airstep can be in. It can either be a channel toggle for the first 4 buttons, and then a drive toggle for the last one, meaning turn your drive pedal on or off for whatever of your 4 hardware presets, which is pretty neat. And then mode 2, those first 3 are toggling the drive, modulation, and delay on or off. So whatever effects you have for that channel on those hardware presets, you're toggling those 3. And then you have channel down and channel up for the last 2 buttons, which is neat. And then finally, you're with the 3rd mode, you're toggling drive with the first button, you're toggling modulation with the second, toggling delay with the 3rd, and toggling reverb with the 4th. And then you're just going up a channel with the last button. So the Airstep is really cool, giving you the functionality of adjusting on demand your different presets. Now, that's just, we got to keep in mind here that you're only allowed or able to adjust your 4 hardware presets with the Airstep, which is cool, right? I mean, the ability, if you have 4 good presets that you like, and that's your go-to tones, this is a great little device. Of course, if there's other tones you want to use when you're using your Airstep, you're going to have to turn the Airstep off, go back in, change your presets on your app so that they're accessible from the Airstep. Then you'll have access to those once you turn the Airstep back on and take over control of the functionality of the amp from the Airstep. So yeah, this is my first initial impression thus far, but I feel like I have a pretty good sense of it. I'm going to definitely play with this for a day or 2, get a better sense of it, make sure that I didn't get anything incorrect here, that I didn't miss anything. But my early impression, after just having it on for 5 or 10 minutes here, is that it's a really nifty little device. I mean, the fact that you can do it basically on-the-fly adjustments to your 4 presets is fantastic. I was a little surprised by the fact that I no longer have access to any of the other tones from the app. I guess I thought that both the Airstep and the app can be connected to the Spark at the same time, and that you were, like it said in the instructions, that you would not be able to edit those presets when the Airstep was in place. But that would seem to be a little off. That's okay though. I don't mind that. Again, if you have 4 good presets that are your go-to tones, that's great. And then, even if you're using this in like a live situation, you could theoretically, take a 2-minute break, once you need to get to 4 different presets or something like that, and, quickly adjust your settings, turn off the Airstep, adjust your presets, turn it back on, and you're in business, right, with those 4 new presets. So I think at some point I'll cover doing that, right? Let's say you want to use the Airstep in a live scenario. Once I, get a little bit more of a hang of it, I'll show what that process would look like end to end. But yeah, initial impressions, pretty neat functionality. I'm actually going to go back and look at my hardware presets and make sure that because some of these I don't use the modulation, for example, or the delay or reverb. Now I actually can probably use them, right? Because now I have a way to toggle those things on and off very easily with the Airstep. So it unlocks a lot of functionality from a preset perspective, right? I mean, you could still do that from your presets within the app, but you couldn't do it while you're playing before, right? You have to stop playing, tap something on the app, and then you're adjusting. So it does actually give you quite a bit more features for playing, for changing things on demand and on the fly while you're playing that you wouldn't normally have access to. So kudos to XSONIC so far. And I'll complete my sort of review as I get a little bit more familiar with it and I play with it a little bit more. But yeah, so far so good. All right, see you soon. So I've used the Airstep Lite for a couple of days, and I have some additional experience with it, some feedback, some thoughts, and it's been really helpful, cool tool to use. I would say that for my money, my favorite control mode is 3, where you can basically toggle the effects, the drive, modulation, the delay, and the reverb all from just tapping the button, which is pretty neat to be able to turn and off and on those effects. And then to switch channels, you just hit that last button and you can go through all 4 of your hardware presets and adjust all those settings. That doesn't work as well in like a live situation. If you're going to use this while you're playing to switch tones, I think mode 1 is the best mode, right? Because you just tap on it, from your foot and switch from, let's say, a clean channel to distortion channel, channel 1 to channel 2, all the way up to 4. So in a live situation, that's mode 1 is a little bit better just because you have quick access to all 4 of your presets. But if you're going to be wanting to adjust within that one preset, mode 3 gives you the most flexibility there. Mode 2 is kind of a hybrid, right? You use the last 2 buttons to toggle up and down the channels, and then these 3 work for the drive, modulation, and delay, which is kind of a nice middle ground, right? If you are, if you only need to go from channel 1 to channel 2, you can just hit that up button and get straight to it, or down if you're going from 1 to 4 or whatever. So, all in all, really useful from that perspective. And yeah, I haven't had any problems with it. There's supposed to be a firmware update, which I think I'll give that a try, and I'll let you know if I see anything there. Otherwise, this will probably be the end. I do want to show in the app kind of a quick way. So if I'm using this in a live situation, and let's say I have, more than 4 different presets that I want to use, I want to be able to go in and update the hardware presets so I can switch to those additional presets, right, through using the Airstep. So I'm going to kind of quickly demonstrate how I would do that in a live situation. You're going to need to take a quick little, call it a minute break, to set up the new hardware presets within the app, and then you'll be good to go by switching the Airstep back on. So I'm going to take the camera here, I'm going to point it down and show you what that process looks like. So give me a second here. Okay, so now what I'm going to show is switching over the hardware presets sort of as if you were doing it on the fly. Right now, the Spark is actually connected, so I'm going to disconnect that real quick. Sorry, the app is connected. So we go to tone control, we forget device, and this is how you basically disconnect the app from controlling the amp. And this will free up, you just saw this go solid. This will allow the Airstep to connect to the amp, right? So it automatically does that, which is nice. The Airstep doesn't require any sort of manual intervention to reconnect to the Spark. It's always going to remember to try to connect to the Spark. So that's really nice. But let's say I'm playing my first couple of songs, or maybe my first 4 songs, and all right, I need a break to switch to my other hardware presets, right? So it's pretty easy to do, right? You just turn the Airstep off, and then you go back into the app, right? And I'm going to go down to the 3 little lines on the bottom, and then there's Add Device right here. We just click on Add Device, Connect, and sometimes this fails, sometimes it doesn't. So we just retry if it does fail, and usually by the second time it'll work. And there we go, it's connecting. And so now it's really just a matter of switching those hardware presets once this comes up to whatever 4 additional presets you're going to want to use. And an easy way to do that is to have all of those songs in your set list, let's say, in the same category, right? So we click on the drop down here. Let's say you have them all stashed in acoustic, right? I'm going to say alternative because that's where most of mine are. And I'm just going to go into each of the new 4 settings I want to use, right? Let's say it's this one. And I'm going to do the 3 little dots up here. I'm going to save as hardware preset. It's channel 1, save. And I'm going to do that for the other 3 presets. And, oh, I got a hardware error. That's interesting. Let's just try save again. Sometimes it errors out. Oh, let's cancel out of this and try it again. Save to hardware preset, channel 1, save. Okay, so that's not good. Let's go back over to the hardware settings and make sure, okay, we have tone control here. That's good. Let's go back here. I'm going to try this again. Save to hardware preset, channel 1. Oh, you know why? It's selecting. Okay, this is why. I didn't change. I didn't change it to a new tone that time. So let's go to a different tone entirely. And oh, that's not changing. So there it goes. That time it changed. So it didn't save that because I still had the same hardware preset as was already saved on there. So this should work this time. So again, let's do the 3 little dots, save to hardware preset, channel 1. I can see now that the name has changed, so that's good. This should work. All right, perfect. Then you're going to do that for the other 3 hardware presets. So let's go to this one. Let's go to alternative again. And I'm just going to pick a couple of random ones. We got that guy. Do the 3 dots, save to hardware preset, number 2, channel 2 right there, and we do save. And then you're going to do that for channel 3 and 4. So the easiest way to do this is to have all those presets that you're going to change to, all in the same category here, and maybe even just those 8 or 12 or however many hardware presets in that one list. And then they're kind of quick and easy to get to. You save them to all 3 or 4 presets, and then you go back into this little guy here, and you go to tone control, and you say forget device. And it's going to pop up a little message, forget, and then it's going to ask you if you want to go to settings and unremember it from Bluetooth, but you don't got to do that. You could just click close, you turn this guy back on, and boom. Now we have those 4 new presets that we just did. So all in all, that process took, other than my little error there, it took about a minute. So as long as you have about a minute or so in between, 4 hardware presets that you have set and the new ones you want to use, you can do this no problem. Maybe at some point, they'll enable a feature with the Spark amp itself where there'll be more than 4 hardware presets available, and maybe you can toggle that with this guy. Something like that in the future, that would be cool. But for now, this is a great way to do it. And it works really well. You just have to have that minute or so in between changing out all of those hardware presets. So with that, I'll do one quick summary here, and that'll be it. Okay, so to recap, we have reviewed the XSONIC Airstep Lite. This is the base model. There's also a way to use this, and I don't know about this yet, but I'll find out soon. I believe it has like a looper, or there's some other advanced functions with some other additional interfaces where you connect this thing to your device. So maybe that'll be a part 2 of this review, but for now this is just the base functionality that you get right out of the box without those adapters. And again, the Airstep provides you the ability to toggle your 4 hardware presets, whether it be selecting each of the 4 or actually turning off and on different effects with those different presets. Really neat device. It really kind of unlocks some of the features on the Spark amp that you would normally have to go into the app and manipulate things. You can actually do this from your foot, right, as a foot switch here. Really easy to use, intuitive. It didn't take long to set up or figure out. I would say within about 5 minutes, I had a good idea of how it was working. Maybe about 20 minutes or so, and I was pretty much able to use it fluidly without much issue. It can be used in a live situation. I just explained that a second ago, where you can toggle your hardware presets if you do that between, let's say you have 4 songs or 4 different songs, or maybe even 2 songs that leverage more than one hardware preset that you're going to adjust while you're playing. You can change those hardware presets by reconnecting to the app and then changing the presets and then switching back to the Airstep, and you're in business. So it doesn't take long to do that. It takes maybe about a minute or so to update all 4 hardware presets, depending on how quickly you can get to them and where you saved them. So with that, it's really neat device. I definitely will be using this as a part of my Spark routine. I actually am hoping to play live soon with one of my buddies, and I'll definitely need this for certain songs where I'm switching to different sounds. So yeah, it's a great device. I'm glad it's here. I'm glad we have something like this. And yeah, happy to use it. So I wanted to say thanks to XSONIC for giving me one of these to test out and try out and showing everyone how it works. I hope you guys get some value out of it. And yeah, thanks everyone.